In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the window regulator with the motor on this Honda Pilot. We'll have to take the door panel apart for this, so let's get started. To open up this door panel, let's start up by the door handle. We have a little cap in here that can be removed with a pocket screwdriver. Just pry up at the top. This will expose 2 Phillips head screws that need to be removed. This can be a little bit tricky to see, but right below the grab handle, you'll see this opening with a Phillips head screw in it. This is the main anchor bolt for the door, so remove it. Now with a trim tool, go around and pop the push clips that hold the door panel onto the door. It's usually easiest to start at the bottom. Now grab the door panel, lift it up. There we go. Behind the door panel, we'll see these cables that go onto the door handle. This one at the bottom. Just unhook all of the little latches. Lift that up, and then we'll do the same for this one, but it's upside down. The difference here is going to be that this needs to be opened up. So with a pocket screwdriver, I'm going to pry it apart. And then we'll remove the cable. Further down on the door, we have the main electrical connector. Unplug that. And now you can pull the door panel away. Unplug the door latch connector and unhook it from this retainer. At the top on both sides of the vapor barrier, you'll see that it has these rubber plugs holding it on. Try to pry these out of the door with the barrier, just like that. We'll do the same on the other side. Now gently peel this away. Try not to break it. It should stick back when you're done. If it doesn't, you can always tape it. Now we have to turn the ignition on, plug in the window switch again on the door panel, and lower the window so that we can access the mounting bolts from the regulator to the window. There we go. Right about there, we can see both of the mounting bolts. We'll unplug it and turn off our ignition. Use a 10mm socket and remove both of these bolts. Now what we need to do is lift up the window carefully to separate it from the regulator. And then once you have it held up in place, use some painter's tape. I like to use painter's tape because it doesn't leave residue, and tape it up and over the door. This will hold it in place while you work. Now we have these 3 10mm headed bolts at the bottom to remove. Then the black one at the top. The silver one can just be partially unthreaded because you can slip it right out through this opening. Now get the regulator out of the top here. It is still plugged in, the motor is, so you can't go too far, but you can move it out of the way. This will give you extra space to unplug it. And to unplug it, looking inside the door, you'll see the connector for it. Press on the tab, pull it out. And now you can turn it and take it right out through this larger opening. And there it is. Now take the motor and regulator assembly, slide them back in the door. Let's plug it in first, find the electrical connector, and when you clip it in, make sure they click and lock in together. All right, now I'm going to line it up at the top. There we go, and start in the other bolt. That's lined up, but I will leave it loose for now. Let's start in the bolts at the bottom. Now that everything is lined up, let's snug these up. If you're doing this by hand, about 1/8 of a turn after it bottoms out is plenty. And snug up the top. Now we have to plug in the switch again so that we can lower or raise the regulator, however yours is positioned, so that we can connect the window to the regulator. Again, it needs to be right about halfway down the door. Okay, ignition's on. Let's lower this. Right about there. So unplug everything, shut the ignition off. Carefully peel the tape off. Slowly lower the window until it reaches the regulator. Now start these two bolts in. Don't tighten that one yet. And I like to tighten these by hand, that way I can feel it out. Basically what you need to do is squish this plastic piece a little bit. That's all it takes. So that's bottomed out and snug, a little bit extra, done. Snug, a little extra, and done. An eighth of a turn at most after it bottoms out. Put the vapor barrier back. Get those cables through and the wiring harness. Resecure it, plug it in, and put the plug back in at the top of the vapor barrier. And of course, we'll do the same to the other side. Bring in the door panel, reconnect the electrical connector, make sure it clicks, and then we have to reconnect the two cables. We'll start with this lower one, which is the door handle, lock them both in, make sure that this tab, or the hook, is where it needs to be so it can latch over. Lock that in there. For this cable, we have to make sure that the cable sticks out enough compared to how it was before so that it can actually indicate the lock correctly. So it's sticking out just a little further. Now if this isn't correct, it's not going to prevent the operation of the door lock, but it won't indicate correctly. There we go, lock that in. And over here, make sure that this is going to go over. Push that. Lock it. So now you take your door panel and you hook it up and over the top, tap it down. This will line up all the push clips, and once you're sure that they're lined up, tap them in. Put in this main anchor screw for the door. Once it tightens up and bottoms out, just a little extra, it's going into plastic and you don't want to strip that out. Reinstall the two screws at the top. Same thing for this. Once it bottoms out, just a tiny bit extra. And this had the little cover. And there we go. Job is done.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.